Welcome, everybody, to our August 2025 Animal Reiki Talk. I'm Kathleen Prasad, founder of Animal Reiki Source, co-founder and president of Shelter Animal Reiki Association. I'm very excited to be here to talk about all things Animal Reiki with you tonight. And specifically, I have a very special topic. So as always, I will start with my monthly topic tonight, and then I'll open it up to sharing and questions. And then we'll finish with our animal healing circle, which we do together to support one another. So any animals or people, we're human animals who you'd like to invite into the circle. You can think about who you'd like to invite, and we will hold space for everybody at the end today. So as my students know, and I see some of my students here today, so welcome to all of you. And even if you are not a current student, I hope to see you as a future student. But in my Mighty Networks, which is our online Let Animals Lead community platform, every month we have a theme. And we have a theme that kind of helps us center our practice, be inspired to do our daily meditations with animals, and also go deeper into our own self-healing and perhaps the obstacles which cause us to not connect as easily to animals. And so hopefully if we break through these barriers and go deeper into our practice, then also our bond and connection with animals grows so much deeper. So this month, every month I have a focus. So this month our focus is the gifts and challenges of spiritual surrender in Animal Reiki. And our dedication for all of our meditations this month, we dedicate our practice to all animals of the land. And I like to create an affirmation. Affirmations are kind of a bridge between the energy of stress that we may be carrying and the energy of calm and peace that we want to carry for the animals. It's kind of a bridge to help us get there. And this month's affirmation is, I trust the flow of life and let the animals guide me. And so that's very much in alignment with our theme. So I've written a blog on this topic on my website. You can check out at animalreikisource.com, but I'm going to be talking about it tonight. And so anything that we talk about that resonates with you, you have a story to share or a question about, please feel free after I talk to share that tonight. All right, so let me go into tonight's topic. The challenges and gifts of spiritual surrender in Animal Reiki. And, for me, the practice of Animal Reiki is an invitation. It is an invitation into the divine. It is an invitation into the sacred. And it's an invitation to be listeners and witnesses in support of animals on their spiritual journey. And often when they're at their most vulnerable or when they really are most fragile. And so our responsibility to hold space in those moments is very humbling. And I think the idea of spiritual surrender can really help us because it's kind of, it can be difficult sometimes, to be honest, to sit with animals in those moments. And so I think that the idea of spiritual surrender is one that can help us to lean in to those connections with animals more easily. It means that we let go with love. We soften our grip on what is the outcome of this situation is going to be, and we learn to trust something greater than ourselves. There's a beautiful quote by Sonia Riccati, which says a lot about this topic. I want to share it with you. She says, surrender to what is, let go of what was, have faith in what will be. Very wise words, also very difficult to practice. And so our Animal Reiki practice really helps us to uncover the path to get there. And so we're going to talk about that tonight. So when we practice spiritual surrender, we create a space for healing and connection and compassionate support for animals when they need us the most. And I think it's good to begin with if we look at what the definition of surrender is and how we kind of view it in our society. And then we can move on to sort of a deeper meaning and what it means in our spiritual practice. So, if we look at the definition of surrender, the dictionary says it means to give in, to give oneself up, to give way or relent. So, a lot of people can say, I don't like to surrender. I don't want to surrender. I'm never going to surrender. Right? You see those movies like Braveheart and, those movies where they are never going to surrender. Right? So, in some contexts, maybe surrendering could be seen as something negative. Right? And we can see it in our lives that, perhaps there's a controlling person or a situation that's not healthy for us. And so in those kind of situations, we would want to keep persevering and we would not want to surrender, right? So this takes a bit of discernment on our part, doesn't it? So what I'm talking about is surrendering things like our expectations for how an animal is going to respond to a session, or what is the outcome going to be? We don't know. We have to surrender knowing. We have to lean into the unknown a little bit. And we also have to soften our ego a little bit, which means we have to surrender our judgments. We even have to learn to surrender our perception of situations. When we do this, when we're working with Animal Reiki, we open up this wide, expansive space where animals can actually feel safe and comfortable to connect, no matter what they're going through. Because animals are very sensitive to the energy we bring to any situation. And they can feel that negative energy that comes with judgments and expectations and fears and worries and all of those things we bring. They bring a lot of negative energy, and animals might say, that's too much. I can't deal with that. And then they won't want to connect with us. So the goal of surrendering all these things is so that we can have a more calm and peace in our energy, which is good for us, but also that we can be more present with support, spiritual support for the animals when they need us the most. And they'll feel that and feel safe to be with us and to connect with us. When we let go of all these things in spiritual surrender, what we're doing is we're actually building qualities like humility. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't control what's going to happen. Flexibility. I'm not sure what to do in this situation. I'm going to kind of wait and work intuitively in the moment. Compassion. Like, I'm meeting the animal where they are instead of trying to direct and control things, right? And peace of mind. I don't need to fight against something I can't control, so I can rest. My energy can rest. Actually, if we look at our Animal Reiki practice, it's been training us for spiritual surrender. Without even knowing it, we've been training because we're already learning to let animals lead. So that means we're surrendering control of the session to the animal, to the animal's wisdom, to the animal's preferences, to the animal saying, I want to be here, not there, or I'm going to leave the room and now I'm going to come back, or I'm going to sleep, or I'm going to stay awake, or, all of these things. We've been surrendering that to them already. We've been taking a step back in Animal Reiki and holding space with peace and positivity. And I call this being Reiki with animals. And the alternative is where we're doing Reiki to animals. This is not the let animals lead way. And that's where the practitioner just runs the session from their own perspective, and they're judging what the animal needs, what they're going to focus on as a good outcome, and they're going to approach them with certain rituals like hand positions. And, all of these things, we're not surrendering control. These are the things that make animals run away. And so as Let Animals Lead practitioners, we've been already practicing letting go of that urge to direct and control. And of course, we mean well, because of course, we want our animals to get better. That's why we're there. But sometimes we just end up getting in our own way. And that's the practice of letting go, letting go, letting go. So we've been practicing that. Also, our Animal Reiki practice is helping us let go of the mental focus on what's wrong, what needs to be fixed, and clinging to all of those worries and fears. Are they going to be cured? Is this going to get better? I've got 30 minutes in this session. They better heal quickly, right? All of this causes our presence to be an aggravation to the animals. The animal's like, I'm already dealing with a lot of stuff, and then you come in here with all your issues, and it's not helping, right? A lot of animals, when they're healthy, they want to help us with our issues, and they're living next to us and they're healing us all the time, right? But we don't want to ask that of them in their most fragile, vulnerable moments, do we? And so that's why we're really working on letting go, letting go, letting go. We have to see through a different lens. And that's kind of the third thing that our Animal Reiki practice through meditation helps us do, that we're going to look through our Reiki sunglasses, look through our Reiki eyes. And even in a difficult moment when an animal is facing something like an illness or an emotional, trauma or something, we're not going to see them and judge them and view them narrowly through that. We're going to notice it, acknowledge it, and see where they are. But then we're not going to get stuck there. We're going to use our Reiki eyes to see deeper, and we're going to see all the way to the beauty of their heart and spirit, that beautiful light within that's always perfect. And so we're training ourselves to let go of what's wrong and see the perfection. So you see how that is also a surrendering. All of these things training us to surrender. And I've talked about how, for my students, this is familiar to you. We are like mirrors to animals. When they look at us, however, the energy we bring and how we're seeing them is reflected back onto them. So if we are looking at them through that negative lens of what's wrong, that's like beaming negative energy at them. And I've experienced this myself through my health issues in the past, and it doesn't feel good. And I always felt so at ease with my animals who still looked at me the same way, no matter what illness I was facing, So this is the way animals naturally look at us. So we're only learning to return the favor and look back at them with those same eyes. So again, we are acknowledging their illness, their diagnosis, but we're moving deeper and seeing that no matter what they face, their inner light is always perfect and beautiful. And so we're saying, yes, you're dealing with that, but there is more. So that's kind of what we're looking at, how our Animal Reiki practice sort of is helping us. Now I want to talk about how we walk the path of spiritual surrender in our practice. And so I have some tips and I have some quotes, which hopefully will inspire you. So my first tip is, when you set your intention at the beginning of your Animal Reiki sessions, set your intention for highest good. So we're not focusing on, okay, I know what needs to be fixed and that's what I want to happen. We are surrendering to something greater than ourselves. That practice, that simple practice of dedicating your practice to, I am here for the animal, for whatever they need, I set my intention for highest good. It acknowledges there is something more than me at work here. There is a higher power. And however you see that in your life is perfect. Some people see God or angels. Some people see universal energy. Some people see a higher self. Some people call it an awakened consciousness. However you see what that is, that divine sort of energy, whatever that means for you, that's what you are surrendering to in your Reiki sessions. Okay. The idea is that higher good, that highest good. Like there's this plan, there's this divine plan. I don't know what it is. And I don't pretend to know, and I don't have to know because I trust there is good at work here. And that's the space that I'm in the Reiki space. So I'm surrendering. Our Animal Reiki practice helps us do this by slowing down, breathing, grounding ourselves, calming our mind, calming our emotions, learning to be more present in this moment. When we are more present and calm, our animals connect more deeply, and we can become listeners and notice when animals are telling us what they need and what they want, and we can respond to them. So we're being much more sensitive to our animals' needs. And so that's really important. I love this Rumi quote. To me, this is a beautiful quote about surrender. Rumi says, "Surrender to grace. The ocean cares for each wave until it reaches the shore. You are given more help than you will ever know." And so I want you to think of this as you do your Reiki practice and you set your intention for highest good in that situation, to know that there is a universe of perfect harmony and balance and peacefulness and calm and contentment. And this universe is there to support you as you support the animal. And so this is all, you're tapping into this energy of perfect healing. Just know that there's something bigger than you, helping you, supporting you, helping the animal, supporting the animal. You're tapping into that with Reiki. You're part of something bigger than yourself. This spiritual fabric of compassion that connects all of us. It's hard because we have to realize I am not completely in control of life. That's a scary thing to say. But when we start to, bit by bit, recognize that, admit that, and lean into that, knowing and depending more on that higher wisdom, right? When we learn to do that, that's what letting go, surrendering is all about. And that's what opens us up to ride the wave of healing that is Reiki. So I want to remind you, surrendering doesn't mean that we don't care. And it doesn't mean that we don't try our best in all ways for our animals, Reiki and non-Reiki. It means that we make peace with the flow of life and death. That is part of the flow. And so that's what spiritual surrender is about, is that constant making peace with that. All things change. None of us is here forever. We all go through ups and downs, and making peace with that. That's what our spiritual surrender helps us to do. For me, with our Reiki practice, it's about, like, I have one life that I've been given. I want to use my life in the best way that I can for others, right? And in our Animal Reiki practice, specifically for animals. So I think about each day that I have, what I can do to be of service. So I'm letting go. I'm seeing a higher purpose. I feel the universe is supporting me in this purpose of being compassion, right? Of remembering the light. And so I rest in the knowledge that I'm part of something bigger. Some affirmations that acknowledge a higher power, a higher plan, a transcendent healing space are: all is well. That's my favorite one. I am embraced by divine love and compassion. Okay? When you feel alone, when you feel everything's going wrong, that's a great one. And I trust in the divine plan and highest good for this situation. Say that when you don't trust. So affirmations are there to help you build that bridge from the darkness to the light. If you're not sure about is there a higher purpose? I'm not sure. I have an affirmation for you too. Say to yourself, well, I already trust the animal's wisdom in this moment. It's just one more step to acknowledge a higher purpose that I'm unaware of, right? You're already halfway there if you see animals as your teachers, because animals are much more connected to the divine than we are. And that's why they're so pure and they're such amazing spiritual teachers. So if you already see the sacred in animals and trust their wisdom and see how they teach you in your life, you are just one more step into surrendering to something bigger than you. So know that. Okay, second tip. Don't forget that every challenge is an opportunity to learn, grow, and heal. You probably hate hearing that, right? I hate when you tell me that this challenge is good for me, right? And in the moment, you might be like, well, it doesn't feel very good. And it's true. Sometimes you just have to get through the challenge, and it's only later that you can look back and see how it made you stronger. You know, how they say, if it doesn't kill you, it makes you stronger, right? So sometimes we have to just wait and look back on it to be able to understand the gifts and the blessings. And that's okay. Just remember, maybe not today, but one day you'll be able to look back on that challenge and see how it helped you grow and heal. Now, when we're facing a difficult situation with our animals, it's very easy to be clouded by anger and worry, right? And then what happens when we're full of those emotions, those troublesome emotions? We react. We react with fear, we react with anger. It's just kind of part of human nature. But this creates a lot of negative energy, and it makes it really hard for animals to connect with us and feel safe in our energy because we're like this cyclone of anger and worry, like just running around, and the animal's like, oh my gosh, that's not helpful, right? But instead, choose your practice. You have a meditation practice that teaches you mindfulness. Even if you could just take a moment and do a hara breath, then we can choose our response with some clarity instead of just being in this reactivity, right? No matter how bad a situation might be or how helpless you may feel, if you can think first, how am I going to react to this? Then you're empowering yourself, even in that difficult moment. And Viktor Frankl has a beautiful quote about this, and I feel like he might be the human being most worthy of saying this quote because of his life. He says, between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom. You can truly take back your power through your thoughtful, mindful response. And we live in a world of reactivity, right? So it's not going to be easy because you're surrounded by people reacting and reacting and reacting and full of turbulent emotions. So let your animals be your inspiration, that I want to be able to be a safe space for my animals. So I want to learn to resist those crazy emotions and reactivity that we do all the time as humans. And I want to learn how to choose a compassionate, thoughtful response. Here's some affirmations to help you. I choose my path forward with courage and confidence. Use that when you feel afraid. I choose to speak with words of compassion and gentleness. Use that when you feel angry. I choose peaceful, positive, and loving thoughts. Use that when those negative tapes start playing. Bring your thoughts back. And another thing you can do is ask yourself, how can I embody the Reiki precepts in this moment, in this very difficult moment? Okay, so here is my third tip for spiritual surrender. Empower yourself with positive action. And I want to start off with this quote by Maya Angelou because I think it's so wise. If you don't like something, change it. If you can't change it, change your attitude. So this also requires discernment. If we find ourselves in a situation that is uncomfortable, that we don't like, we need to ask ourselves, is this something I can change? And if the answer is yes, then take steps to do it. Be brave. Take steps towards change. But what if you can't change it? You get a terminal diagnosis for your dog. What do you do now? You have to change your attitude. And that means, in the Animal Reiki speak, see with your Reiki eyes. Now you've got to really focus on the spirit of perfection in your animal, all of the things about them that make them who they are, instead of diagnosis, red alert, right? Then you can't see your animal anymore. So it's your responsibility to widen your view and see more than just what's wrong. So I want to remind you that doing this is difficult. It's hard, right? So take time for self-care. Take time to shift yourself into peacefulness. Do some things for yourself, like, walk through the grass barefoot, lie under the tree in some shade, take a walk in nature. Let your animals bring you back. When you're all stressed out and your dog comes and brings his ball to you and drops it at your feet, join your dog in some play for a minute. They're trying to help you shift your energy, right? So take your animal's lead when they give you an off ramp, when you're going down that negative road, right? And use nature. So nature and animals can really guide you, and take that time for yourself. Second, I want you to find a positive action that allows you to flow with the situation, whatever it is, rather than fighting against it. Remember, you have to discern, is this something I can change, or is this something that is unchangeable? And so I need to change my attitude. Okay? So you have to figure that out. But if it is something you cannot change, then you need to take a positive action. For example, try creating a positive plan, such as, I accept this is the diagnosis. This is how I can make things better as we walk through this together. Start making a list. Look at that list when you feel discouraged, and remember, I cannot change the outcome, but I can change what the path forward looks like for both of us. And I can make things better along the way. Find what those things are, write them down, and do them as often as you can. And third, I want you to appreciate and acknowledge the blessings that exist side by side with the difficulties. This is one of the difficult things in life. Like, we want things to be all good all the time, but that's very rare. Usually there's something, okay? Everything's going great in your personal life, but your business is having stressful issues, or your business is successful and great, and your relationship is falling apart. Or your business is wonderful and your personal life is great, and then your health is failing. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that is called, folks, it's called life. Okay. So the idea is open up and expand your perception to be able to hold all those things at the same time. So, in other words, this one thing is falling apart, but that's not all there is. Look at all these good things. Look at all these blessings. Look at all these positive things too. And practice holding them together. I hold this one in this hand. This is my difficulty. I hold this one in this hand. It creates more balance. This is the positive. This is the blessing. So you're creating balance in what would otherwise be a dark situation. Here's some affirmations to help you do that. I'm so grateful to be with my cat right now. Or, I love the way we understand each other. Or, there is so much love in this room right now. Or, I appreciate you so much. Thank you for being my teacher and friend. So, in those moments, your positive action that you take should be expanding the positive energy and healing vibrations of that moment. I believe that when we learn to surrender to these things with grace, that we actually are aligning ourselves more fully with the heart of Animal Reiki, which is to be present, to listen, and to trust. And the animals are always showing us the way, aren't they? They're reminding us that love, peace, and healing exist in the now. They exist in this moment. Take it. It's here right now. And when we can meet each moment with humility, with an open heart, with that love and peace, we become a safe harbor in their storm. And that's a wonderful gift. So remember, if you're going through a difficult place in your journey right now, you're never alone. The animals are with you. The energy of Reiki surrounds you, and the light of compassion guides you. All right. So that is my talk for this evening, and I'd like to open it up. If anyone has, you can also type in the chat if you have any questions or sharing, or if you'd like to share, feel free to unmute yourself and share something that touched you in tonight's talk, something that resonated, anything you'd like to share, or any questions.
Hey, Kathleen, can you hear me?
Hi, yes, hi, Martha.
How are you?
Good, thank you.
It's been a few years since I took your level 1 class.
Great to see you.
It's great to see you too. And I just wanted to tell you, I appreciate what you said, that animals teach us that love, peace, and healing exist in the now. I think that's important to remember.
I know, right? Because we're always thinking, if only I do this, this, and this, then I can get there. And animals are like, it's you right now.
Exactly.
They know. They know it.
I'm actually dog sitting right now, and the dog Kira, she just came over.
Oh, so sweet.
Yes.
Adorable. Well, thank you.
Thank you. It's good to hear your voice.
Oh, nice to see you. Anybody else? All right. All right, let's go into our healing circle for tonight. You guys ready? Okay, so we'll go into Gasho. And let's take a moment to set our intention. So we're going to dedicate our practice to our animals and just bring to mind the animals that are on your mind and heart today, or humans, whoever comes to your mind is good. And just to practice our spiritual surrender, we're going to say that we sort of honor and trust highest good in this situation. And we'll rest our hands on our lap and we'll do some hara breathing. So visualizing your breath as a pure and clear light. And as you breathe in, it comes in through the crown, fills your body with light, all the way down to your lower belly, your hara. And then as you exhale, imagine that light expands out your skin, into your aura, and into the universe. So breathing in the light, filling your body, connecting with the hara, and breathing out, expanding that light. And breathing in and breathing out. Just take a moment to do a few breaths at your own pace. Just focus on the breath and on the light. And then relax your breath and just see yourself sitting in this beautiful space of light, the light within and the light all around you. And this light is filled with peacefulness, compassion, harmony, perfect balance. And this light is a beautiful invitation to your animals to connect, to feel safe. You are that safe sanctuary for them in this moment. And if they connect with you, they'll feel your vibration, which says, all is well. We really step into and surrender to that higher wisdom and know that all is well. And we can let go of our expectations and worries, and we don't have to understand or know everything or what's going to happen. Just let go into that higher wisdom and trust in highest good. And then bringing our hands back into Gasho and just taking a moment to thank our animals. However they chose to connect in this moment was just perfect. And setting our intention to finish, take a nice deep breath and slowly come back and open your eyes. All right. Well, thank you all for being here and holding space with me. And I hope this talk has been helpful and gives you lots of food for thought. And I wish you many blessings this month as we contemplate spiritual surrender. And I will see you guys in Mighty Networks, or I'll see you next month. All right. Take care. Bye.